You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Single Ladies After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Single Ladies After Show.
All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies,
She's doing it.
all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Now put your hands up in the club, just go up.
You got all the moves.
I know the dance.
And this song we just love. We love that Single Ladies dance.
That's our anthem.
And our new guest right here, she has it down too. Biggest for doing, and we are here doing another great show on AfterBuzzTV.com. This is the after show for Single Ladies, Season 2, episode number 12, All or Nothing. And it was a great episode, and we had a lot of stuff at stake, so make sure you stay tuned. I'm your host, Fallon Mercedes. You can catch me on Twitter at MISMERCEDES. We also have Lauren, who's back.
Ow!
Lauren, how
we missed you. I'm feeling single.
Ready
to mingle and tingle.
And where can all these single men who think you're hot find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, Lauren's Love, Instagram, same thing, and all that good stuff. So yeah, Lauren's Love.
Spicy Mari's in the building. Where can we find you?
You can play with my Twitter at spicy_Mari. That's SPICY_MARI. And you can also play with my gram at spicy_Mari.
Now, sometimes we have the single bachelor of the week, and we have this week the single bachelorette, Miss Cenia, who's an actress who's new to LA and who is also my roommate. Tell us where we could find you online.
Cenia Darling on Twitter. CENIA Darling.
And she is a darling.
Slumber
I love
party.
her. Yeah, lots of slumber parties, lots of fun. So watching Single Ladies today with all my best friends, roommates, single ladies, it was good to engage with each other and actually see these girls go through things that we go through. And we've seen a lot of things that these characters went through on the show that we've dealt with ourselves. One being April and Reggie. Now, last episode, April was dumped via Twitter. No,
text. It was text.
Via text, yes. It would be even worse.
Same difference.
You know,
In the middle of
it
a
hurts
tornado.
all the same.
Exactly. When you are broken up, not in person, and it's through either social media or through, you know,
AT&T, whatever.
it's the worst. So obviously she's feeling this thing, she's feeling heartbroken, and she needs some closure. So we've seen her in this episode writing this hateful, you know, hate letter. I hate you, and I can't believe you did this to me. But she didn't send it out to him, which I thought was unusual because most of us girls would have hit send.
No,
Well, not
good
really.
job.
Yeah, sometimes it's better. I mean, I'm sure a lot of, love and relationship experts will say, write a letter, tell them how you feel, but just don't send it.
Right.
And I've done that before. I mean, I've done both. And I've always regretted when I hit the send button. So I thought it was kind of cool that she, got it all out and didn't actually, push send. So.
And I also seen that when she was, I guess, feeling liberated and feeling that closure, and she didn't send it out, she actually got a text from him saying, hey, let's meet up. And isn't that how it always happens? When you are ready to move on, you washed your hands clean, they always come crawling back.
Oh, yeah.
So she ended up saying that she was going to engage and go on a lunch date with him, and she ended up playing him, which I was surprised.
I was surprised too. I just knew she was going to go.
She,
I totally thought she was going to be a sucker.
I know. She texted him, I'm actually not going to make it. How does it feel?
Right.
Is that something that you would do?
No, because I believe in the golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So
Even when they've done you wrong.
yeah, well, I just feel it would have been stronger just to say I can't make it and I'm busy. You know what I mean? Than to have him set him up, and then she brought herself to his level. But I can understand the triumph she had of getting him back. But I think it would have been just as strong as I can't make it, I'm sorry, before he even got his hopes up. Like, don't even get his hopes up.
But I think it wouldn't have had the same effect with that. And unfortunately, as much as I hate playing games, sometimes you have to play games. It's a war out there. It is messy, and your heart is on the line.
Yeah.
And she needed to feel that triumph. And at the same time, she got to be like, haha, in your face.
And she's watching it.
As immature as that is, you got to play the game sometimes, unfortunately.
But to me, it's like, how many more times are they going to go through this? You know, she was the one who stood up and was the bigger person at first. And now, like you said, you know, now she's down on his level. And it's just like, are they just going to keep it going back and forth?
It was immature, though. It was.
Yes, I'd rather have seen her not send that text out and just said, no, I'm sorry. You don't want to be with me. We're not going to be together. We're not going to see each other. What do you think, Lauren?
Well, I mean, just thinking if it was me, she probably was going back and forth in her head up until the moment of if she was actually going to. I don't think she planned on not showing up.
She planned. She had that big hat on.
Hair did, nails did, everything did. Just
no, what I mean is, like, maybe until that day, you know how it is. Like, you're like, well, should I do this or should I do that? And then the day comes and she's like, okay, I don't want to see him. I'm going to get him back. So maybe that's why she wasn't so easily, like, the night before saying, I can't make it. Do you know what I mean? And, like, sometimes we do need to have closure in that sense, where it's like that was a little bit of closure for her because she felt like she had the power. The power was in her hands. And you know how we are as humans, we want the power, especially in relationships or breakups. So
we should always tell people, be the bigger person, do unto others as you want done unto yourself. But at the same time, come on, like that sweet feeling of revenge. If I could do that
to my ex-boyfriend and have him ask me to come meet him, and then I don't show up and say, how does it feel? Yeah, I mean, like, it would be a temporary
it's like a Band-Aid.
But it would feel good. It would feel good.
I also think that there's a difference between closure and revenge, though.
There is.
You know?
That's not really revenge. It's not like she slashed his tires.
Well, that's true.
You know? Like,
even that wouldn't be revenge.
Yeah.
But just letting somebody get a taste of their own medicine, sometimes you have to cater the punishment towards the person.
Right.
And in this particular situation, he needed to get his butt smacked and see how it felt to be dissed.
He left her in the middle of a tornado.
I'm sorry. That still
before they went to Puerto Rico.
Right. They're on their way to Puerto Rico. Like, they were talking about, like, going farther in the relationship, and all of a sudden he just runs out on all, like, her friends were there. It was just,
not to mention that's her best friend.
Right.
So it hurts more when it's somebody that you just started dating and now you guys are in a relationship, to somebody who's your best friend that you got into a relationship with, because you're going to hold them 10 times more accountable. And Reggie was, and he completely acted like a child the way that he handled the situation. So she just wanted to show him, look, how it is when you're dating a child.
Right.
I have a feeling that this is not going to be over anytime soon. These games will continue to go on.
He dropped a bomb.
He definitely did. But there's one relationship where the games have ended and it seems like a real relationship has formed, and that's between Keisha and her sweet ex-boyfriend Sean, who's her boyfriend now. And we see them
fine ex-boyfriend.
Spicy
yummy. Oh my goodness.
We just see them on a whole nother level. Like, I see something so different with them. Her and Malcolm, they had this passion and they cared for each other, but to me it wasn't as genuine as, like, the history that Sean and her have. And to see him hold her, cook for her, be good to her, even she is just like, you are such a perfect man.
He has her back 100%.
He does.
And not just money-wise.
Yes. And we seen that when he was her lawyer and stuck up for her when Malcolm, you know, was out there doing dirt in the city. But one thing I did notice in this episode was that, you know, we seen them, they had hot and steamy sex finally, but he seemed to not try to, you know,
get it in this episode. Yeah, he was more reserved.
More reserved, being more of a gentleman to her, which was kind of, you know, once you...
I thought that was odd, but you brought up a good point. You said maybe he feels a little bit of regret for having been caught by, what was her name, Vivian last episode or the episode before, because he had been, like, it had been discovered that he had slept with somebody else while he was waiting for Keisha to come around. So you said that maybe there was a little bit of guilt around there.
That's the only way that I could put two and two together. together. I think he wanted to show her, listen, I'm not out here trying to dog everybody, try to get a piece of you, piece of her. I'll show you that I'm still willing to be by your side and be with you, even if you don't give up the goods to me. And I think he was proving it in this episode. Now, I know you guys were rooting for Malcolm before. How does Sean, I guess, rage on your list? Are you guys rooting for Sean now?
Yum, yum, bubble gum.
Sean is one of those guys. It's like the classic story of just like the nice guy who, in the end, probably deserves to get what he wants and is doing everything right. But you can't help where your heart leads you. And I think that Keisha's heart is going to lead her back to Malcolm. So, I don't know. I mean, I do love Malcolm still.
So you're
still
team
like a bad
Malcolm
boy.
or team Sean?
I'm team whoever makes Keisha happy.
I'm team Sean. I liked Malcolm before because of the passion thing. He's playing too many games with Taylor and throwing it in Keisha's face, knowing that she does still have feelings for him. It's obvious there's still something there. But I think that, and I commend her because a lot of us women don't know how to do that. We don't know how to choose the right one. We want to choose the one that we have the passion with and not so much the one that we have the security with. And she has the security with Sean, and he's a great guy. I don't mind waking up to that every morning.
Was she planning on breaking up with Sean?
Yeah, she's going to break up with him.
So that's the only thing that bothers me is like, you know, it's like, you know, this person is good for you, but if the feeling's not there, then it's not going to last very long.
But like love is a decision though. No, it's a feeling, but it's also a choice that you make. You can choose to love someone and you can choose not to.
You can choose to love someone, but you can't choose to be in love with someone.
No, you can't. But I think Sean is earning that right to be in love with, like, he's trying to make her fall in love with her.
Yeah,
the gun range, the holding her, the taking care of her. He's doing all the things to make her feel safe and secure that Malcolm just didn't do. Malcolm dissed her on Monday, loved her on Tuesday, and was ratchet on Wednesday.
I'm definitely pro Sean when it comes to stepping to the plate and being, you know, and showing her like, I really want you and these are all the reasons why. And but again, I just feel like Keisha is not going to be with him in the end. So
there's always that tug of war.
Not there.
Cenia, seeing the show today and being introduced to these characters, what do you think of Sean's character so far?
You gotta love a nice guy. I'm so old-fashioned. I still am a fan of we stayed up all night talking.
Yeah.
And then also, I think a lot of that had to do with what she needed right then. Her tires had just been slashed. That was not the time to like rip off each other's clothes and hit the sack. That was the time like he set up, he rubbed her feet, he made her breakfast, like he made her feel safe and secure. The next day he took her out shooting so she could protect herself, even though she's got it all locked down and fine. But he like let her know that she was not only safe with him, but she was safe with herself. And I thought that was very important for what was happening. At the end of the episode, like she right now, I think she's gonna cling to Sean because that's what she needs. She's scared and something's going on in her life, and she needs the comfort and the protection, which is exactly what she needed at the time. She doesn't need the passion right now. She needs the security, whether it's going to be in the future when she's safe, who knows, but right now I think that's what she needs.
I definitely trust Sean more than Malcolm when it comes to
we already know Malcolm's going to come back.
Oh yeah,
want to tap that.
They always come back. But you know, you're saying this whole she needs the security, and he was, you know, there for her when her tires were slashed. But really, I kind of feel like he feels guilty, and that's why he might be going above and beyond, is because
after this prediction, I have a prediction.
Because who slashed your tires, Keisha? Sean, I think it was the girl you've been sleeping with, you know?
Maybe.
So if I was in Sean's position, I'd be like, it's because of me that this girl might be getting stalked.
Yeah.
She might go in an alley one day.
Be protecting her
like,
she might go and open a box and find out there's a snake in it. That was crazy.
So scary.
That was scary.
I would not feel that protected as you guys may think, you know, because he's the one who brought on this crazy girl like Sean.
Wait, but we don't know if it's her.
We know.
We don't know.
I mean, Keisha does have a few enemies.
She's done a lot of stuff to a lot of people, to a lot of men. You never know.
Well, I predict that it's this girl who's still strung on Sean and wants him back, and it's probably her trying to get after.
See, because she didn't seem crazy. I didn't see crazy in, it was either Vivian or Victoria. I can't remember, it's a V name. But she didn't seem crazy. I didn't see crazy in her eyes. I saw hurt in her eyes.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where the craziness comes from. When you're hurt, I've done some crazy things when I've been hurt. I can admit to that.
Preach.
I can admit to that. So I do think it was her.
So
I don't
the
know. That's
other
just
woman, though?
Yes. That is the first person a woman usually attacks. And when I think it should be the man, but when a woman is hurt, you'll sit there and attack the other woman, and then you'll be calling the man, oh, come over, I still love you. That's how it is.
Thankfully, I've never had to attack the other woman.
Never. Never.
Fallon's like, well, let me tell you. All right. It ain't pretty.
I wonder what our iTunes listeners
You don't know
are
what you're
thinking
capable
about
of. When
this.
you are hurting, I always say, like, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. Man, I
When you're
don't
hurting,
know.
yeah, but
2012, I'm capable of anything.
Yes, I've done some things I'm not really proud of, but I guess that just comes with, you know,
Yeah,
you gotta
But
get
eventually,
older.
we're going to discover
I
on
don't
the
know.
show.
We'll
Same
find
thing.
out. I want to know what the iTunes listeners think. You guys leave us comments because we need your comments. We need your ratings. We all have different, as you can see, different views on the situations. Every
Done it.
single subject we have a different view. So I'm sure the iTunes listeners do too. And our viewers, we love you guys.
Man, give us that 5. We
Yes.
deserve it.
Yes, yes.
And download that iTunes application because it's easier to rate, comment, and subscribe when
It
you
is so
do that.
easy.
And you guys tell a friend. If you know, just like us, we sit here and talk to our friends about what happened in each episode. We're watching the show, and Lauren's mom is texting us like, a
Oh, my
real
goodness.
man would not tell you he's seeing another woman. He would play the both of you. And this is how it
Yep.
is. We all talk
Preach,
to each
Mom.
other about it. So you guys
And I'm
at
sure she's
home,
watching, so
I
hi,
know.
Mom.
Hi. So you guys at home that are watching who love this show, please tell a friend, you know, have them rate and subscribe. We like to hear from them and hear from you as well.
And I also want to just thank everyone who's been on my Facebook page and like personally tweeting me and saying like that you miss me and all of that. That really means a lot to me when I'm laying in bed and I'm like wishing I could be here. So
Single ladies, it's not the same without her.
So I just want to thank everyone for being there for us and watching with us and
And
all
she
that good
is
stuff.
back and full of
And I'm
that.
back today. So
Perfect. I feel the love. And speaking of love, you know, we seen last episode Charles admit his love to Rachel. You know, they were in the elevator in the midst of some hot and heavy, steamy love making. And right at that peak, he looked over to her and said, I love you.
and she said, "Thank you."
Shaking my head.
Like, how
That was horrible.
that has to be the lowest blow that any man can feel. You put your heart on the line, and you know you're in the middle of doing something.
Which you're not supposed to say I love you at that point. I'm sorry, it's like supposed to be a rule that people break all the time, but you are not supposed to say the first time that you love someone in the middle of the hot, steamy, butt naked, getting your freak on, because it's an emotional, intense, and it might not be organic and real at that moment.
That's
You're
probably
not
why
supposed
the
to do
rule
it at
is
that
broken
point.
so much, though, because they're in the middle of such a passionate moment that it just like comes out. I don't think that it was planned.
Yeah, I'm sure. But so it put her in an awkward position because she didn't feel like that. And so now we see this episode where she got a little bit vulnerable with us. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, she was in a situation where she started dating, or not dating, but she was supporting a guitarist who she was going to buy the guitar for her boo from.
Gorgeous.
And
Wait, can I say
phenomenal.
something?
Pause.
Okay, wait, yeah.
Gotta
This
give
man was beautiful when he walked in the
perfection
when
folk.
he walked in
If you think he was perfection,
His
right
name is
at
Gavin.
Yes.
His name is Gavin, and I called him Christian Grey. Like, if you guys are reading the 50 Shades of Grey, like, if I had Christian Grey in my head, like, who he would look like, it would look like Gavin. Like,
but he
dark
needs black hair. He needs black hair, right?
Yeah, Christian Grey has
black
dark
hair.
hair.
That's what he
Christian
needed.
Grey. Like, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous man. And a musician. Honestly, Raquel, I hope that they end up
tap
together.
that Raquel next episode if you can.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was thinking in my head watching it, she went to go buy the guitar for her boo, and then she ends up kind of like being interested and falling for him. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot, how messed up would that be?
It was messed up, period.
It
But she's
was.
not in a committed relationship. And when you're not in a committed relationship, ladies, fellas at home, take the note. If you are not in a committed relationship, it is not cheating. Make sure you get that title.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
see,
gotta say.
I didn't say it was cheating, but I do feel like it's kind of, I don't know. I think
There's a reason they're not exclusive, though. There's a reason that you tell somebody, I'm not ready to commit. It's because you still have a wandering eye.
Right.
But I think there's a point in a relationship when you're dating somebody where you're right before that brink of being together, title, and I think that's where they were, and I think that's why he was saying I love you, and I think she was becoming very vulnerable, and I see in this episode we do see that because she still had her guard up.
But mind you, she hadn't talked to him in 2 weeks.
Why was that?
So if I didn't talk to someone I was dating and all like that in 2 weeks, I would assume that, okay, well, it's time for me to, you know, if I have a connection with this person, I'm not going to completely push it away.
Yeah, but did he disappear?
She was buying that guitar for
Yes,
to try to win him back.
She was buying that guitar for him, but she didn't do any harm by flirting with him.
No, and honestly, it looked like it was a longer relationship in the show, but in reality, they had only known each other for a couple of hours. It was in her store for 2 hours, and they just talked and talked.
And she went
to see a show, and she went up to him on stage afterwards, and he kissed her. Like, it wasn't, she didn't go on a date.
No
she didn't
dates.
even know him for longer than a date. The minute he kissed her, she went, I'm sorry, I realized I'm nuts about someone else.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it was like, it was nothing.
I'm sorry.
It really wasn't a big
Keisha
deal.
likes ballers. April likes married men, but out of everybody on the show, Raquel be getting it in.
Yeah.
I am sorry. Every episode, she is a slore. She gets it in.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I'm sorry. Raquel gets it in every episode. Every episode, she is either smooching, rubbing down, loving down somebody every episode.
That's true. She is. She is.
Think.
I used to say that the character I was most like was Raquel.
You did say that.
No, I wish.
But she's in this discovery phase, and when women are in the discovery phase, all, you know, balls to the wall, and all's loving.
In her defense, I mean, she was engaged. You know, I think everybody needs that, you know, that time
to play.
Exactly. I just felt so bad when, you know, she finally opened up, and I think she put her guard down and was like, okay, this man said I love you. Let me think about it. Am I ready to open myself up to be with somebody, to love somebody? And when she did, he looked at her and said, you know, I'm back with my ex-girlfriend. Now, that being said, do you believe he really loved her? I know, you know, some people feel like, you know, you cannot love somebody and love somebody else, or can you love more than one person at a time?
Yes.
I think love is different every time, and I think each person you feel it with, it's a different emotion. And I believe that a man to be that vulnerable and say I love you, it's easier for girls to do it. I don't know why. We're more willing to love, and I think for a man to put himself in a vulnerable position to say I love you and to not have it received, and like any of us, if you say I love you to someone, male or female, and they say hold on, I have to think about it, that's not true. Like, because I was telling you this, I think that love is magnetic, and like, you don't have to think about it, you know it. And I think for him to put himself in that vulnerable position and her not to respond, and we all have that ex that you're not still in love with them, but they have that special place in your heart. So when they come back and this person's like thinking about whether they love you or not, and this person that you know you had a solid relationship with and is still in love with you, and you can find that, like, I don't blame him. I don't think what he did was wrong, and I think we all would have acted accordingly, especially as a man.
He went with security over passion.
Yeah, and especially as a man, like, he put himself out there, and she was like, you know, it was 2 weeks since they last talked. Like, that's a low blow. So your automatic, like, your defenses go like, I need to find something that will respond to me. You know,
somebody
like,
that cares.
I think that's the most scariest thing about love, is that you have to really put yourself on the line and become so vulnerable.
You have to
and
humble
take a
yourself
risk.
to somebody.
Yeah, you have to take a risk of getting hurt, and, you know, having that person take your heart and do whatever it is they want with it. So I guess I do agree with you. You're saying that Charles, you know, he isn't wrong or right, but there's nothing wrong with what he did.
And
going back to
in answer to your question, I think that as human beings, we are naturally created to love. So you can
definitely. I think
love
that's the center of us,
more
as
than
Lauren
one
would probably
person
say.
at one time.
Yeah.
You love who reciprocates it. And in addition, I mean, look at, bad reference, but Love and Hip Hop, look at Stevie J and Mimi and Jocelyn. I believe he loves both of them, which is another AfterBuzz show that we do, folks. Tune in after this. But you can love more than one person at one time, and I think that he does honestly love Raquel, but there's a stronger love for his ex, because there's just that comfort, that blanket. Yeah, and it's guaranteed. He knows, like, she really cares.
I think it was a lot of an ego thing as well. You know, like, you're the first one who says it, and then she doesn't reciprocate it. It's like, okay, his ego's messed up. He was impatient instead of just, you know, in a way doing what Reggie did with April. Yeah, he ran away, but then when he realized, like, I need this girl, he's gonna do what he has to do to get her. And even Sean with Keisha. But what's his name, Charles, just, I mean, he ran away to what he's used to, and I don't think that's fair because love doesn't really have a time. You know what I mean? Like, you could be falling in love with someone and someone may already be in love with you. That doesn't mean you're not supposed to be together.
And why didn't Raquel know about this ex? He just comes back like, oh, I'm back with my ex.
She did know that. She said, oh, I thought she was married. She knew about her.
Yeah.
But, like, the feelings were so strong that he just goes back to her. I mean,
it wasn't I don't think his feelings were so strong. It's his ego, and it's just the fact that it was easy for him to go back to her.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Should she have confessed her undying love when he told her that you're not ready right now for a relationship and you don't love me?
If she was in love with, if she really felt like, I think she should have told him the whole story about the guy.
Like at that point, and it seemed she got him the guitar, she had the dinner plan, she got all beautiful. I think then she was going to confess her love back to him. And sometimes when you have time apart from somebody, that's when you realize, I do really love that person.
The guitarist.
She didn't kiss him, he kissed her.
But then
she pulled away right away.
She said to him, I'm still, that made her even realize it more. And I feel like she should have said, you know what? I can understand where you're coming from. You love your ex, but I am in love with you, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you at the time. I wasn't ready. And I think then he might have been like, hold on, did I just make the right decision or not?
Very
but
true.
again, his ego was in the way, and so was so many other characters on the show. Their egos were in the way. Like Omar. Omar found another beautiful man. And, you know, looking at his clothes, and he's a designer. You know, Omar wants to be a designer. He doesn't want to just work in the retail shop. And he was like, hey, you know, let's hit it off. Let's go out. He introduced them to the girls at the store, and then come to find out this guy isn't even gay, and he felt used. So his ego was just so hurt. And I felt so bad because I'm like, Omar needs love. If there's anybody on the show,
he
predicted it.
I was like, I don't think he's really gay. He wasn't. I don't feel like he was giving us the
gay vibe.
The gay, well, not even the gay vibe, the receptive to the pickup lines and the flirtation. Omar would say little things,
and he just wouldn't even say it.
But old boy wasn't responding as like, oh, honey child, you know, like he wasn't giving us any of the love and flirtation.
Even when they went out as a group, he asked the girls to dance. Like, Omar said, do you want to come dance? He was like, yeah, girls, you want to come dance? And he knew that all those ladies worked at that shop. Like, he was clearly trying to network. Like, that's the first thing I noticed was, like, he just asked all of them to dance. If he was into him, he would have said, oh, we have a meeting tomorrow at 3. Let's you and I go dance. Instead, he was like, girls, let's dance. Like, he was ensuring he got his foot in the door. The conversation of, are you gay, are you straight, never happened. And it was like, I don't know, I never got the gay vibe.
So, and why did Omar just assume, though, that he was gay? Because he was into fashion?
No, because Omar just has this confidence about him. He thinks remember the UPS guy?
Oh, he thinks everybody wants him.
This UPS guy came to the store. He was so sure that he was interested in him. When he shot him down, he was so hurt. Like, Omar's a beautiful man, don't get me wrong. But not every man is going to be interested in you, and not every man's going to be gay. So he just needs to get over himself. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of times also when you have a crush on someone and you find yourself attracted to them, you can kind of make yourself think, like, you're like, oh, we just set up this meeting to look at your fashion. We just set up this meeting tomorrow for you to meet all my, you know, in his eyes, it's his girlfriends, you know, we set up all these things. You're coming out with me. So when you have a crush on someone, you kind of take things for what they aren't. You know,
he served me a glass of water. Like, you start looking, you start reading into things.
You're like, he posted on his Facebook that he's going out today. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's like, no, he just posted on his Facebook. Like, I think when you have a crush on someone, you make it something that it isn't a lot of the times.
And the guy even finally admitted, like, yeah, I was just using you pretty much.
See,
but no, he even said, like, I did.
I think we're gonna say the same thing. Go ahead, Maddie. I think we're reading.
No, I was gonna say that's when he said that pretending to be gay is just as bad as a gay man pretending to be straight.
That was a good.
I thought that was a great quote and point that he brought up, because we judge men who are in the closet and who haven't come out yet. But a man who is pretending to be gay is just as bad. And I didn't think about that until Omar said that. Like, he led him on. He completely misled him and misled us as well as viewers at home. I'm insulted.
See, I do not feel that there was anything wrong with what he did. He didn't say, Omar, I will be with you if you get me the connection.
But he knew Omar had the hots for him.
Yeah,
but us women, how often do we do that? You know, if you know that this is the job you want, you know that the guy works at the job, you want it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trust me. Spicy is going to put her spicy perfume on. He never once said verbally that he was going to make a commitment that he didn't keep.
You're absolutely right.
They did, but Omar planned a dinner like for him. Remember, Omar was like, "Oh, you're still coming over my house for dinner, and I bought wine." Why would you go to dinner with a guy like?
Lauren,
I mean, I guess women do the same thing.
Yes,
but and I never said that the guy's wrong. But the thing is, this is not just a man and woman thing. It's a guy pretending to be a preference that he's not.
No, he's just pretending to like someone. No. It's the same thing. He's pretending to like someone. It doesn't matter sex. He's pretending to like someone. And is that wrong?
Well, we all do it in some kind of way. I mean, doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's
We do it at work with our coworkers. We do it at the grocery store with the cashier, knowing that she's taking too dang long. We do it with everybody. So if you think about it, this time it was just him trying to get ahead. It was an opportunity, and it was using.
It was using.
And you know what? But there's this saying that I go by, you know, you can't be used unless you're useless. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, if you have something that I want or I have something that you want, you know, you can't use me unless I'm useless. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, elaborate. You can't use me unless I'm useless. How am I useless?
You can't be used unless you're useless.
So Omar was not useless.
So you can't use somebody.
So,
he wasn't using him because he wasn't useless. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
so he was of use.
Yes, and vice versa. In any situation that you're in, you can't use somebody unless they're useless.
But just because we all do it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do.
I don't find anything. What I feel in this episode,
because feelings get hurt, and I mean, of course, in this sense, like Omar's fine. He'll get over it in a minute. But I mean, if it was someone else, or you know, if it just kept going.
So do you do what you need to do in order to get what you want, though?
Sometimes you do.
Like,
you shouldn't.
in this episode, in this situation, the only thing I found wrong was Raquel. When she said, you know, you used my friend, I don't want your line in my store. I felt like that was wrong because Omar went up to her and said,
it's okay.
Do you like his line? And she said, yeah, it's beautiful. I love these scarves. And he said, well, then, okay, it doesn't matter what's going on with us. I felt like that was very unprofessional.
The reason that Raquel made made this statement and she stood up for her rights and Omar's rights was because old boy admitted to being fake and not being his true self. And when she realized that he was lying to get ahead, that's when she was like, I don't want you or your merchandise in my store, because he admitted to being fake. Yes, the merchandise could have been good, but she wants that. You don't want that in your store. She wanted sincerity. She wanted genuine authenticity. What if he was lying about the silk scarves and they weren't really silk? Now you can't trust anything because he's not really the person he says he is.
I can understand that, but I feel like the merchandise should speak for itself.
That's when friendship comes into play, though. I mean, I really think
sorry. Anybody disses y'all, deuces.
Right.
You ain't having your clothes in my store.
Because I feel like it wasn't really a diss. I feel like if he was like with him and was like hooking up with him and then really wasn't gay, I feel like
he didn't do that much for the storyline, but the writers made it at the end where it made it bad because he admitted to being fake.
Because at first it was okay. I think when it was like, oh, it didn't work out, he's straight. But then when he came into the store and still with his little attitude, you know what I mean, towards Omar.
I don't have time for you. I got to go get my line out.
Where it was just like, Raquel, if I watched all that happen to any one of you, I mean, I would probably make the decision to.
And honestly, Raquel doesn't need his scarves that bad.
Right.
You know, because Omar's going to be in her life forever.
She was doing a favor.
This little really poo scar maker is not going to be around that long. She's choosing friendship and loyalty over the one fashion line.
I just think as a businesswoman, Raquel shouldn't maybe then take advice or have, you know, people that you are close to, you know, introduce designers.
But you trust your friends. Your friends have sometimes good
balance.
No, when you mix business and pleasure, we've all seen it.
Yeah,
it can get messy.
But that's like okay, so that's like us recommending a fabulous host for AfterBuzz.
Right.
The people here at AfterBuzz are going to trust our judgment, just like Raquel trusted Omar's judgment. So you are going to believe your friends over.
But then she can't fire him because that's what I don't like. Either you're on or you're off.
Okay, but what if something happens if we invite someone to AfterBuzz and then you watch Maricela and her new guy that she, you know, invited, you watch him say like, yeah, I was using you just so I can get on AfterBuzz. would you really
that was
be
a great example.
Would you really be like, okay, wait, he still needs to come on the show?
No, but a good host.
I'm sorry. If he's a good host and it's business, if he treated
No, you wouldn't.
But
you would
Fallon's
not.
the most loyal friend. Get out of here. Raquel saw Omar getting used.
I just feel like what he did wasn't that bad.
I agree.
What he did wasn't that bad because he didn't do anything sexual to mislead, but in honor of gay rights, what he did was atrocious, and to my homosexual community, off with his head.
But did he actually pretend to be gay? Like,
didn't.
I didn't get one vibe that he was gay.
No, I never thought he was
like,
gay.
Going out dancing. He's like, girls, come dance with us. He wanted to dance with the girls.
But when you know that somebody has a crush on you, male or female, heterosexual or homosexual, you know they have a crush on you, you should be honest and say, hey, I don't feel that way back. What he did was withhold information to get ahead.
Right.
I think if I was in his shoes, I never would have said I was just using you. I would have said,
that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just not interested.
I'm just not that into you.
Yeah, then it wouldn't have been, I guess, as bad as it played out. Anyways, our single ladies topic for the show is it okay to lead somebody on when you want something? I know we discussed it, kind of already, but you guys at home, please let us know, in this situation, what we just seen, was it okay for the guy, the designer, to lead Omar on? Would you lead somebody on to get something you want, especially in the business industry? And I know in entertainment, it is cutthroat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but do you stick to, I guess, your morals, or is that okay? Does that not, I guess, interrupt or interfere with your morals if that's something that you want in the end?
I mean, if you're completely aware that you're leading someone on, it's different. Because I've led people on and someone else had to tell me, like, you're leading this person on. But if you know you're doing it and you, like, it's just, I feel like
it's wrong.
It's not right.
We know wrong and right. We were taught it, but sometimes we reason with ourselves just for a little bit for opportunity. And sometimes you have to do that if you want to get ahead. Yeah. That's the name of the game. It doesn't make it right. It is wrong, but sometimes you got to do a lot of wrong to get a lot of right.
I feel that in any situation, when you feel someone has more feelings for you than you do towards them, in your subconscious you don't mean to, but you kind of start to take advantage of them. Like, even just like going to the grocery store in the bakery section, and like, the baker has a crush on you, and hi, how are you? He's gonna give you the free
extra
cookie.
croissants.
Yeah, like, you know that, like, you do it subconsciously, like, you don't even mean to, especially being a girl. Yeah. But then there is a level where someone's actually starting to get feelings for you, and you have to say, like, look, I don't mean to. There's nice ways you can shut people down. I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression, but I just want you to know that I'm not looking for anything right now, or I don't see you that way. And then if it's their choice to keep going, then that's their own fault. They can go ahead. I'll take whatever you're gonna give. But I was honest, but I think subconsciously we all do it to an extent, but there's a point where you recognize, ooh, this, it's not harmless anymore. It's not just free cookies at the bakery.
Sometimes I think it's still wrong. I'm sorry. It's for viewers at home, because this is not the expression or the feelings viewed of AfterBuzz, just the host. It is still wrong if you admit the truth to them and they understand the truth, but you still continue to use them.
Oh,
it's still wrong. But you're still wrong for using them.
Is it using, even if you say, like, I'm not into you anymore, then they're just giving you something?
Yes, it is using, because they're only doing these in hopes of one day gaining your heart. Just like Sean felt like he could convince
a light bulb
Keisha.
Just went off in my head right now.
It is wrong. Everybody thinks I can change your mind. Every single person thinks I'm going to be that one that makes you realize I'm different and I'm special. And you don't want me now, but you'll eventually want me. And so yes, it is wrong, because that's what that's what half of these relationships happen on the show are about, is them thinking they can convince someone to love them. And majority of the time you can't. I mean, you can hope and pray that someone's eyes are open to see how amazing you are. 8 to 90% of the time your eyes aren't open if it doesn't happen naturally.
And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you're leading somebody on and they're starting to feel for you, but then you sometimes try to convince yourself, well, maybe I do really like this person.
Gonna mention that.
Maybe I want, maybe this is a good, we all say we want the bad guy, but we need to think, okay, we need to be with the good guy, so we try to convince ourselves.
Let me like the good guy. Yeah.
So then is it then leading on if you're trying to convince yourself, or see if you yourself.
But you know what? I've done that before, and I firsthand realized that you can try and make yourself love someone because they love you and because they seem perfect for you and because all of your friends think that they're great. But if you don't love that person, then it's not going to work. And it's going to be you leading this person on for the rest of your life.
And then leading yourself on.
And then, and you're leading yourself on. And then you're just going to be unhappy.
So would you say that Keisha's kind of trying to do that with Sean?
That's exactly
what I was thinking when you guys said that. Because she loves her some, like, Malcolm. She loves her some Malcolm.
But we do know that she loved him before, and she still does love him. I think she just... She's infatuated and has more passion for Malcolm. So it is still love. I just think it's a different type of love and not necessarily maybe the love that she wants to
That's a great word, Lauren.
I think that infatuation...
That's a good one.
I think that infatuation is the cruelest emotion because it can fool you into thinking that, like, this is the one and you're going to make babies and all this stuff. And in reality, you're just really attracted to them and they're really funny and they make you they're really the best kisser in the world.
Or you convince yourself that all those things are true.
And when you think about it, you're like, no, what are the qualities about this person that I actually love them for?
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge, like, infatuation is the cruelest emotion because it, like, you cry the deepest over a broken heart over infatuation.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think there's so many different kinds of love, and I think there is comfort love, and there's passionate love, and there's everything's a degree of love. And I think that sometimes your passion can just...
blind
most people get married. Like the first thing you hear about, like most people's like first marriages, if you will, that didn't last that long. They say, "Well, why did you get married?" And they say, "We had really great sex and we had a great time together. We had a lot of fun." You know what I mean? Like,
oh no.
But that's the infatuation. It's all of that, like the passion and like it's
and
like
then you hear them saying the passion,
but that's not
that's why
that's not what lasts. It's like you need to. It's the friendship that's the love.
And see, that's why I think that. And I know you didn't think so, but that's why I thought that April and Reggie kind of had a chance, was because they had real authentic friendship. And they didn't have that passion. It wasn't really, in my opinion, fireworks when they were together, but they do have the friendship and the security. And the passion, I think, can grow. And I didn't think that before, but I do think that the passion can grow now.
And that being said, let's go into predictions and see what the predictions are for this episode.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
We will start with the love of the show, Lauren's love. What are your predictions for this episode?
How many episodes are left? Do you know?
I thought it was 18. I'll have to look into it. It might be. We're already at 12, and that's pretty deep.
I do predict that April and Reggie are gonna end up being together.
Now together for good or just another round?
I think he's gonna move to New York.
That's I forgot about the whole New York thing. I don't know. I think that definitely we're gonna have April debating on within whether she should go or not. Of course, she's not gonna go. And Morgan. I don't think
about Morgan.
I don't think she's gonna last long.
Every guy she dates, I predict that every guy Morgan dates is not gonna last.
I feel like,
or any of the guys on the show.
I just feel like Morgan's character isn't gonna last long. Like I feel like she's something. I don't know. I just feel like Morgan's not gonna last
every
long.
relationship.
Yeah, she's doomed. Her character is not as appealing to me. And I'm not as interested in her storyline.
And why is it every guy she dates, she says, okay, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to work out. Like
she's like the Debbie Downer, so I don't know.
Maybe that's
But that's all her predictions.
I think you have that friend that's not the hopeless romantic. I think everybody else is, especially Raquel. And so I think that you need that person who's kind of the realist on the show. And I think that's
but it's role to watch.
No, it's not.
I think she just has other things
Let's
on her
vote
mind.
her off the show.
But she's cute. I think she's a good look. But I thought that this storyline actually was pretty good because oftentimes we want to be that fun person and be irresponsible and throw caution with the wind. And this time she was like, no, I have responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm a little too old for you.
Maybe because she's the only one with a kid on the show too. She's a mother, so she has
fits
to play
that.
a different role.
She fits that, having to choose to be responsible for somebody else and take accountability for someone else instead of self, where everybody else on the show is selfish as hell.
Yeah.
So we need that role.
Yeah.
But I definitely hope that Morgan finds love and is able to find somebody, hopefully maybe somebody with a kid, and they can have like a little Brady Bunch family.
Yeah.
I think April is going to take Reggie back. I think that April is going to go to New York, and she's going to pull a Samantha move where she goes to New York,
and then she comes
back. But in the midst of her being in New York, I think that Lauren London is going to play a more prevalent role April, fill in the gaps while April's on vacation with her boo thing probably, and then she'll come back to the show like, oh guys, Reggie and I didn't work out, and then she'll be back. I think that Keisha is still going to have this I love Sean, I don't know what to do battle, and Malcolm's going to back up. She's going to turn Malcolm down for Sean and show him that you can't choose, you know, me over Taylor. I'm not going to choose you over Sean. And then in the heat of the moment, when she decides to settle down with Sean, she's actually going to choose Malcolm. Go.
Whoa, good.
Wrapped up the whole thing. Okay, I'll keep it light. I predict that in order for Keisha and Sean's relationship to progress, she's going to have to face something from her past, their past, that was hurtful for the both of them, but now it could be a good thing, and that's his child. We haven't seen the child so far in this season. And
interesting.
I think in order for their relationship to grow, they're both going to have to come together. He's going to have to say, this is my child, and she's going to either have to accept the child with love or say, I can't do this.
I like that one too. Go girl.
I have to say, the thing, I don't know if I'm predicting this or hoping this, but I'm hoping that Raquel focuses a little bit more on Mr. Guitar, just because I want to see more of him.
Yes.
So let's just hope that everything works out with X and his ex, and that she just goes right to Mr. Guitar, because he looks like the perfect rebound, if you ask me.
Hey now, two snaps. You guys at home, please comment, rate, subscribe, tell a friend, and let us know your predictions for the next episode of what you think our character's going to grow through. We love having you. Lauren, we love having you. We hope you stay well. Sonia, it was great to have you too. And of course, me and Spicy holding it down as usual.
On the ones and the twos.
We'll see you next week. You know, tweet at us, Instagram us, and all that other stuff. We'll see you.
I'm a single lady.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.